Welcome to a brand new bullet point single shot. You never know what to expect. You might get the whole bullet point. You might get a one-on-one interview. You might get a clip from the Loftus party. Tonight, we got a single shot. Judd, what are we in for?
Our single shot, the return of the single shot, I love these, is Release the Memo 2.0. DOJ activity indicates John Durham is preparing indictments.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Roll the graphics and let's get to slinging some hard, cold truth.
Boom.
That was fantastic. Judd, I'm so excited right now. It's like a kid on Christmas. It feels like I'm about to unwrap a big old box of justice. Now, before we do that, we gotta do a little bit we gotta do what's necessary. We gotta talk about your book, because that is right around the corner.
The book. Here we go. It's in the background.
Ooh.
Thank you for bringing it up. 13 and a half Reasons Why Not to Be a Liberal and How to Enlighten Others is coming to bookstores near you. If people go to bookstores, wear a mask if you're going to a bookstore or not. On October 6th. October 6th. We're selling online, and please come get the book. We're excited. We're going to start touring to talk about it, and we're looking forward, Bullet Point Nation.
That is legit, man. I'm super excited about that. So, an awesome work on the slides. Sometimes you don't have your slide finger isn't there, but tonight you're clicking like an old pro.
Listen, my excuse is you used to be in the studio and you ran the slides.
That's true.
So it's get back to LA, baby.
I'm the Michelangelo of mouse clicking. Okay, we gotta get into Durham. We got to get into FISA abuse. We got to get into Clapper and Comey and Strzok and Page. What's going on? Let's get some insight from you about the Durham investigation, where we are.
Great. Well, in May 2019, that's when William Barr, Big Bill Barr.
Big Bill Barr.
Thank you. My reiterations. Tapped Connecticut U.S. Attorney General to dig deeper into how the justice was served, or really, as we know by the end, well, not served, but yes, it was served, because there were like 32 indictments that went down to lesser players on more of an operational level rather than the greater claim of Russian collusion. So May 19th, he had them look in, and we're already seeing, like, besides operational abuse, we're seeing perjury, destroying of evidence, obstructing justice, violating the Espionage Act and the Logan Act. There's potential pay for play, and it may have gone all the way up to the president. So interesting enough, during this period of time, what's been going on, we've been having massive distraction through COVID, massive distraction through BLM and Antifa rioting, and the nation's not paying attention to this or to the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell scandals, which are all coming to light. So the big question on this one is, will there be indictments? The indictments are supposed to come at the end of the summer. They're saying that Bill Barr may not have the right to release it if it affects the election. He's like, he says, I know the laws. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and it's progressing forward.
There's so much that I like about. Here's what happened today. As we're recording this show, Joe Biden announced his VP, and he picked Kamala Harris, and I was like, thank you, because here's how deep I thought the deep state was. I thought he might pick Susan Rice, and if he picks Susan Rice, then she's like, hey, you can't investigate me. I'm running for the vice presidency, and that would shut it down. So with Kamala Harris being the VP, that leaves everything is just right on track to get. If Susan Rice remember, don't forget that email Susan Rice sent at the very end. She's like, Obama wanted everything done by the book. Send. That just reeks to high heaven.
Send a year later, too.
Right? So I am so ready for this. I'm ready for testimony. I'm ready for James Comey, who's been very quiet, to come in and start feeling the heat. Isn't that the most beautiful, because that's what Comey did. He did it to General Flynn, oh, big time to Flynn. And they hold your feet to the fire and they try to get you to sing. Well, man, the shoe is on the other foot now. This is great. This is great. I want them to go after everyone involved. Everyone. This is and I'm not even kidding here. Like, we're talking, get out the blindfolds and the cigarettes and get the firing squad. Like, you got to drop the hammer on this. This is unelected officials trying to change the outcome of our election. That's shoot 'em up time. That's ride the lightning time.
Yeah, yeah. On Laura Ingraham, he said, I don't think we're investigating sloppiness. Basically saying this is going to be sedition, or that, and that's what Trump's been dropping. And ultimately, why are we not up in arms? Why is the agenda of Democrats and a Democrat and Republican two-party system? Why are we not obsessed with the justice of the system, just the outcome of winning? I mean, Barr's continuing to say we have to figure out what the origins of the Russian investigation are. Now, that goes back, as we know, back to 2018 to the FISA memo, which is the Steele dossier.
You mean 15, right?
2015, right? 2015, yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
But 2018 was when they ramped up. They released the memo intersection.
Yeah.
That's when they were pushing to release it.
This is one of those events right now that will be politicized. It's so funny when you hear the Democrats talking about you're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong, and they've been nothing but consistently on the wrong side of history. With Big Billy Barr, with the Attorney General Barr and Durham, and going after these knuckleheads who really thought they could get away with it. You know, it's like, who's watching the watchers? You've got Strzok going, oh, we've got the insurance policy. Don't worry, we'll get rid of them. We don't want unelected officials in charge in this country. Now, Democrats might freak out now because it's Trump's Attorney General, but our children, when we can still trust our elections, they will look back and go, man, that was dicey, and it's a good thing they had an honest guy in there like Attorney General Barr. He's doing good work.
Here's here's where their assessment is, and I love this quote because it just nails it down. In particular, the prosecutor is looking for answers concerning how the FISA report and the 2017 assessment, why former FBI Director James Comey and his deputy Andrew McCabe insisted on it being part of the assessment, how allegations from the dossier ended up in the assessment's appendix, and whether Brennan misled about the dossier's use. The prosecutor is also reportedly reviewing Brennan's handling of a secret source said to be close to the Kremlin, and Durham sought to find out what role that person's information played in the assessment. What is so amazing about this is that it could run back to Russia, but once again to the deep state in opposition to Trump, which is the entire claim of the Mueller investigation, that it was contaminated in favor of Trump. But what we actually saw was that Russia was a deconstructive force, creating chaos, which is actually what the movies talk about. It's true, they have a chaos agenda, right? They do Dr. Chaos. They have this agenda, but at the same time, it looks like the deep state might have been more involved with Russia in opposition to Trump. So if these things come out, here's the question. America has a 24-hour news media cycle memory. Are we going to take the election? Are we going to say COVID? Oh, no, Trump, if they release it at the right time, is America going to say, well, Trump's just doing this to win the election because he's so bad? Or are people going to go, oh my God, this great injustice to the system of America? And I have to tell you, I think it's going to be the former. I think everything they're going, you know what, I'll tell you something, researching this show, you're on the sixth page, seventh page of the search engines. Even the Durham investigation is being repressed right now in the news.
Yes, the narrative since Jump Street, Trump's a Russian agent, Russia meddled in the election, Trump, Russia, criminal action, we got to look into Trump. The media is going to spin this so hard that Trump is just going after his political enemies. That will be the story. How dare he, this close to an election, and they won't care that people like you and me and people who love Bullet Point Nation, they won't care that we've been patient about this since 2016. most people knew there's no there, and this is just it's slander on the biggest scale out of the media. It's horrible coming out of these unelected officials. You can't trust the deep state. You can't trust the FBI. They were out to get Trump, and that's all. And they tried as hard as they could. Thank God they failed. I can't wait for subpoenas and testimonies and that clack, clack, clack of the judge's gavel. Bring it.
Right, right. Why is Watergate, Obamagate, which it is today, or Bidengate, which it could be today, why is this not the issue of the day when it's coming down? I tell you, I read a lot of the legal journals. What the legal journals are doing is they're going after the constitutionality of even having this inquiry. And they're saying, no, there's actually been illicit behavior that merits this. There was a great statement by Barr that, basically the big element that we see now, which is the main issue in the news, is right here, is Flynn's unmasking. This is the key element. Like 5 or 6 people asked for him to be. Now, unmasking does happen in the course of investigation. People can request that it can happen. But there were like 6 or 7 requests. And as we know, Yates, Obama, and Biden. Now we're talking about, as Barr said right here, that this is the Russian collusion story actually is the closest we have come to an organized effort to push a president out of office.
Yes.
What's not headline news?
And to make it worse, when they were looking for a reason to unmask Flynn's, and Biden's already lied about this. They're like, did you know anything about this? And Biden's like, no, I didn't. But then you have the notes saying that Biden was the guy who's like, well, can't we go after him for the Logan Act? Like Biden was the guy bringing up that lameness. So his hands are dirty. He's running for president. This is explosive. This couldn't be bigger. We just got to come up with a cooler name for it. Because Watergate, that was the 70s. And you call it Obamagate. No, this needs its own thing. We should have a contest. We should have a contest for the best name for this scandal. Like Treason 2020 or the Messier with the dossier, something. We need a better name for the scandal.
I'd like to apply. I think it should be Deep State Gate. It just has a good ring. I like reiterations. Deep State Gate, right?
Deep State Gate.
It's really what it is.
Now listen, you're not eligible to win the contest.
I'm here in the Bullet Point Nation. That's true. That's true.
Right. You're one of the DJs. You can't be a caller.
So the other thing that's really pressing about it, and what's interesting about this transition right now, right as we're bringing in Kamala Harris, is Barr also had stated that what happens after the indictments depend on who is going to be in office and elected or not. Now, think about the gravity of that statement. We're talking about people trying to get the president out of the office, essentially a coup in sense. If it comes through, this is all alleged. We'll see soon. I mean, Durham's a tough guy. So if the Democrats win, will the Democrats simply repress and override the outcome of these indictments? Do they have the power? Do they have the ability, Michael?
We're in uncharted territory right here because, like I was just saying, man, you got Biden himself, the guy who's running for president, Sleepy Joe, basement kid sniffing Joe, who was the guy's like, maybe we can get him on the Logan Act. So Biden was in on it. I don't even like to think about this, but like, just because you're running for president doesn't mean you can't be investigated. Like we went through that in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. It's like, oh, you can't do that. She's running for president, blah, 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 blah. So I also don't want to open up the door for, oh, this is a great way to go after your political enemies in 2024, 2028, that kind of thing. Like, oh, we'll just have some charges brought up and it'll just be a character assassination. But we can't ignore, this is real. It looks like it happened. There's more and more proof coming to light every single day. Trump's going to go for it. Trump's not going to shy away.
Why would he? Why wouldn't he? Let's just take off the gloves for a second. And we've talked about this. There's been 7 attempts to take him out. Why wouldn't he unleash right before the election right now? I mean, I think we all know, and I'm so glad. I door knock for Romney. I'm glad he lost at this point. Romney really turned out to be probably kind of the worst kind of rhino. I mean, I would have preferred him over Obama. But still, why wouldn't he drop this right now? Why wouldn't he go? And he's saying, and this is what's interesting this week, I have to get out of the spotlight because I have a lot of enemies. What happened yesterday? They had that guy with the gun at the White House, right? It's sending some kind of message that something's coming. He's also taking on Big Pharma if they do some kind of mix between hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Z-Pak. That's going to be cheaper than anything they're going to put on the market. I mean, he's got a lot. He's taking on the system. They say that JFK was executed for taking on the Fed. Well, Obama's also taking on Trump is also taking on, he's also taking on the Fed. I mean, this guy is bucking the system. We hired this guy to drain the swamp. Everybody can go to hell that's been sending me these horrible messages through my phone, through the text. I've been getting so much heat since this book's coming out, Michael. And the truth is, rationally, we all elected this guy to be our deconstructive hero, and he's still doing it. He's still taking on recalcitrant Washington.
It is amazing. And once again, it goes back to being on the right side of history. When and I genuinely believe this, when historians look back at the 4 years, let's just say he just does 4, the first 4 years of the Trump presidency, it's amazing what he was able to get done with this whole Russia investigation, and then the Mueller investigation, and then the impeachment. He still got more done in 4 years than most presidents get done in 8. And I think the idea of Trump getting reelected and not have to worry about, he'll just do 4 more and he'll be gone. He'll just be really unleashed. If we thought the first 4 years were crazy, these next 4 will be the most productive in our nation's history. It's what Trump said the other day was really that really, I didn't like it when he was like, you're not going to see me for a while. There's some very rich people who don't like me right now. That was very, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. That was disturbing. So we just got to keep our hopes pinned on Barr and Durham, and just hopefully they can bring it. They can bring the heat, and they've got a good enough case where they can make it stick. And hopefully Comey will sing, and Brennan and Clapper and Strzok and Page. Hopefully they'll all sing like canaries. That was our Durham update.
Durham.
We gotta slide into the wild card.
Yoo-hoo.
I'm pretty stoked about this one.
All right, now I know you've been straddling. I know you've been straddling this topic all week. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at Sturgis.
That was wonderfully timed. Look at that. Listen. There's a couple things that I want to do in my life, and you know how to surf. You're a surfer. I have to learn how to do that. The second thing that I want to do, learn how to ride a motorcycle and go to Sturgis. It just seems like, have you ever driven around there?
No.
I have taken several cross-country road trips. I always try to veer up through the Dakotas, Devil's Tower, the Badlands, Sturgis. It's beautiful. And this time of year, and I'm so glad those guys did it, everybody's giving them heat. They're like, oh, it's going to be an explosion of COVID. You know what? Shut your pie hole. Shut your pie. If you're okay with protests, then you got to be okay with Sturgis.
Oh, such a great point. Can people have that point? I'm telling you, you walk around California right now, it is glare central if you're in the open air alone, not wearing a mask. I've got texts today like, do you wear a mask in public? I'm like, do you mean in the car? And he's like, well, anywhere in public outside your, I'm like, come on. I mean, I like contaminating myself, to be honest.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine tell me, like, I go, if you're okay with the protest, you got to be. Look at that outfit. Look at that outfit.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. I mean, if you're a Viking and a Hellion, and you want to, and you're a little overweight and you want to wear a thong, it's kind of the place to go. It's not con.
It's like a birthday present to me. They're leather pants, old T-shirts, just sweaty and stinky, just brrr, with your best babe just hanging on, and her thong is sticking up out the back. She's got her arms wrapped around your ears like, bah, 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 bah. It's the best. I had a buddy come after me. He's like, the protest was different. They were wearing masks. These guys are all going to be drinking and singing Freebird. And I'm like, drinking and singing Freebird? That sounds like a great time to me. Like, hey, you racist bastard. They're going to have a blast.
Bullet Point Nation, where you can go from Durham Investigation to Sturgis and topless bikers. Okay, so here you go. Here's a little social distancing for you in the background there. I mean, it looks packed. And you know what? I'd be there.
Is that from this year? Is that from this year, Judd?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's somebody with a mask in there. Yeah, a blonde with a mask on a trike.
See? Somebody with a mask in there. Those are responsible bikers. There was a crazy rumor on the internet that Antifa might show up, and Lord in heaven, that would have been the Christmas gift. That would have been the gift. Wouldn't you love to see Antifa show up in Sturgis and have a couple kids in hoodies like, I'm Antifa, and then just some big biker just bang. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, they're all gonna bus in from Chaz and Chop, but unfortunately they've given up vehicles as a form of American freedom, right?
Yes. And then when a biker is just completely stomping them, they'll like, help, call the police. And like, you don't want the police, bitch. You're on your own.
So here's our Corona moment. So it says, funny t-shirt, I survived Corona in Sturgis. So the truth is, right, there is this horrible flu. And you and I talked about it, Rob Nelson Live the other day. The thing is if 1 out of 30 in a vaccine works, and kids on the CDC were not, they said that kids can't be affected generally. And then now they're saying that asymptomatic doesn't transmit as much as they thought. So if you're 60 or older, don't go to Sturgis. I mean, that's kind of where we've got. It's going to be a rough year. Hey, if you have comorbidity, don't go to Sturgis. That's our one disclaimer of compassion here on Bullet Points. Obviously, not for the vulnerable to go. But meanwhile, maybe America could get back to work. Maybe America could get back to having a little bit of fun. You know, maybe we could socially distance in the theater. I'm dying for popcorn. I got to tell you, I feel like I need meds. I've used movies my whole life to chill. I use the gym to keep my serotonin up, man. They're killing us.
Yeah. I'm jealous of everybody who went to Sturgis. I'm jealous. I'm completely jealous. I imagine somebody's going to get the Rona in Sturgis.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But you take that risk. These are grown-ups. These are adults. These are Americans. They want to live. They want to be happy. If riding your motorcycle to Sturgis and partying with your friends makes you happy, then go for it. And I'll tell you what, if you're one of those people like, well, I'm worried about what happens when they go back to their hometown, and then maybe they're going to, you know what, you might have to stay home, you scared little twerp. You might have to stay home for a little bit.
If you go to Sturgis, you could, quarantine for 10 days. That's the other thing. There's some people wearing masks up there. You can wear, you have individual freedom of choice to keep a little bit more distance and a little bit more and mask yourself, to stay in quarantine, to get tested after. We just don't need government to do everything for us right now. That's what this is all about. The ultimate question is that nobody wants to talk about on a daily basis is America's living on $3.7 trillion of government tit money. What's the detox going to be like? I'm for the people that are pushing the limits, and I'm sure we'll be. I don't even want to say the word, but maybe there might be a little banner on this episode.
Hey, I'm just glad you gotta listen. Clint Eastwood said it best in The Outlaw Josie Wales. He's like, you got to get busy living or get busy dying. And all those people in Sturgis, they're busy living.
Take us home, Michael Loftus.
Thanks for watching the show. Always come back to Bullet Point Nation. We're doing one-on-one interviews. We're doing our regular Bullet Point shows. We're doing the single shots. Good Lord. What's next? Table dancing? Maybe for Judd. I know I'm in. I've already said yes.
With the mask. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming.